Hey there, I'm going to show you guys how to do your two-step reduction print project today. And if you notice, I have already done one layer. You can use up to two colors. And the other thing I want you to see is that underneath my plain white sheet of paper, I've taped my grid. This allows me, I can kind of just faintly see through it when I go to do my stamping so that I make sure they're all nice and lined up. So the first thing you're going to want to do is tape that down with a white sheet of paper on top of it. You're then going to put your name on the bottom right-hand corner. You don't need a class code or anything. Your name is fine. You can use for this project up to 4 different colors. These are my selection of colors that I'm going to start with. For layer number 1, you're going to want to pick your lightest colors. So for me, that happened to be these two. Basically, if you start with a really dark color and then try to stamp on top of it, it doesn't work very well. So I'm going to put these off to the side because I'm going to be using those later. These were the 2 colors that I just went through and did this full out layer on. This is a project about pattern, so you want to think about not only doing a pattern in the direction in which you hold your stamp. So my pattern was arrow left, arrow right, arrow left, arrow right, arrow left, arrow right. And I did that throughout my whole first layer. The other thing you need to think about pattern is color. I used 2 colors and I just chose to do a variation, green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, green, blue. If your eye is distracted by this corner, take a little lesson from Miss Horniak and make sure that you wash your stamp before you get started. I had a little bit of black left over on my stamp and it completely mixed and made a gross color on top. So make sure, learn from me, make sure you wash your stamp before you get to use it. And you can just do that at the sink and dry it off with a paper towel. So what I'm going to show you, because you don't need to see me stamp this layer, you can figure out how to do this. What I am going to show you is what a reduction print is. And basically I'm going to take the same stamp that I used for this first layer and I'm going to reduce it or carve more away from it. And what I'm going to carve out is the inside of my A. So I'm going to be carving out this space here and this little top space here. And I want you to notice what happens on my design after I've carved those out. So for those of you who are new to the carving tools, we always make sure that our fingers are out of our direct line of cutting. We're always moving our tool forward, never digging, never working sideways or towards our body or hand. We turn the stamp to make sure that we have the right angle. We never turn the carving tool. So I'm just carving out the center part of this A, and I'm going to show you what happens with that in just a minute. So you could reduce anywhere on your stamp that's still raised up. And take notice, you don't need, just like in the beginning, you don't need to take off really big chunks of it. Just a little tiny amount is fine. So I've removed the A. And what I'm going to do now is holding my stamp in the exact same direction. So arrow left, arrow right, arrow left, arrow right. I'm going to stamp on top of layer number 1 that I have here. I'm going to use, I'll start with black because I think it'll be easiest for you to see. Let me move this a little bit closer. What you'll find once I've gotten black ink on there, everything that I just carved out is going to maintain either the green or the blue, and the white areas should stay white. So let's see what happens. I'm going to go arrow left, and if you look closely, I can't lift my sheet up, but if you look closely at this A, my white lines remained white. My newest area that I carved out stayed, well, this was kind of a muddyish purple, and then the newest areas, the areas that still stayed raised up, turned black. So I'm just going to go through and do all of the ones that were green. I'm going to cover those, making sure that my arrow is facing the right direction, arrow left, and I'm just going to go through and I'm going to stamp all of my blacks first. This way I don't need to worry about washing my stamp in between every single time. So you would go through and you would complete your pattern, and this is a 2-step reduction print. So you have, instead of just a color plus white, you now have 2 colors plus white. I would carry on throughout the whole design, and you're going to also make sure that you have a pattern both in how you've laid out your stamp, arrow left, arrow right, arrow left, arrow right, and also a pattern in how you've done your color, blue, green, blue, green. You can use up to 4 colors total. Can't wait to see what your designs look like.